Good day, everyone. I'm Ibrahim Umar Wasi, and welcome to Politics Today. The Palestine and Israel war, a conflict that has spanned 7 decades, has witnessed a glimmer of hope with the recent ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Earlier yesterday, with the Qataris Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Jassim Al Thani confirming the ceasefire agreement between the two sides. This breakthrough comes after 15 months of devastating conflict, which has brought immense suffering to countless lives. To understand the significance of this agreement, let's delve into the history of the conflict.
The Arab-Israeli conflict in Palestine is a long-standing and complex issue with roots dating back to the early 20th century. To understand the cause of the enmity, it is essential to examine the historical context and key events that have shaped the conflict. Palestine has been inhabited by various cultures and empires throughout history, including the ancient Canaanites, Philistines, and the Romans. In the 7th century, Arab armies conquered Palestine, and it remained under Arab and later Ottoman rule for nearly 1,300 years. In the late 19th century, a movement called Zionism emerged among Jews residing in Europe, aiming to establish a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Zionists believed that Palestine was the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people, and they sought to re-establish a Jewish state there. In November 2, 1917, during World War I, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration, a public statement expressing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. The declaration was included in the letter from British Foreign Secretary Untold Balfour to Lord Rothschild, a leader of the British Zionist Federation. Balfour later expressed sympathy for Jewish Zionist aspiration. Zionism, a political ideology calling for the Jews' return to Palestine. Just a few weeks after the Balfour Declaration was issued, Britain General Edmund Allenby conquered Jerusalem. During the war, British made lots of promises that they didn't keep. One was to Sheriff of Mecca, Hussein bin Ali. Britain promised their support for a single, independent, unified Arab state, and in return, he agreed to be part of a revolt against the Ottoman Caliphate. The Balfour Declaration was a significant development in the Arab-Israeli conflict because the declaration acknowledged the Jewish connection to Palestine and expressed support for the establishment of a Jewish homeland. However, the declaration did not consider the rights and aspirations of the Arab population already living in Palestine, who made up around 90% of the population at the time. It also facilitated Jewish immigration to Palestine, which led to an influx of Jewish settlers and increased tensions with the Arab population. The Arab population in Palestine and the wider Arab world strongly opposed the Balfour Declaration. They saw it as a betrayal of their rights and aspirations and a threat to their very existence in Palestine. The Arab-Israeli War of 1948 marked the beginning of the conflict, with 5 Arab nations invading the former Palestinian mandate following Israel's declaration of independence. The war resulted in the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, known as the Nakba or catastrophe in Arabic, and the establishment of refugee camps in neighboring countries. Over the years, the conflict has escalated with numerous failed peace agreements and ongoing violence. The Oslo Accords of 1993 and 1995 aimed to establish a framework for peace, but ultimately failed to address key issues such as borders, settlements, and the right of return. The Israel-Hamas war, which began on October 7, 2023, has resulted in a devastating humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The conflict started with a surprise attack by Hamas-led militant groups on Israel, killing 1,195 Israelis and foreign nationals, including 815 civilians, and taking 251 hostages. In response, Israel launched a massive bombing campaign and invaded Gaza, resulting in a significant number of Palestinian casualties. As of December 2024, over 46,000 Palestinians have been reportedly killed, with more than half of them being women and children. The Gaza Health Ministry has confirmed at least 90% of the fatalities are civilians. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has been exacerbated by Israel's blockade, which has restricted the entry of basic necessities, including food, water, and medicine. The United Nations has warned of an imminent famine, with over 2.2 million people in Gaza experiencing food insecurity.
That was DDM reporter Mr. Tochukwu Raphael. The recent ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas is a three-phase agreement, with each phase lasting 6 weeks.
The deal is structured in 3 phases.
The ceasefire deal, while a significant step forward, raises questions about its sustainability. In the first phase, Hamas will release 33 Israeli hostages, including women, children, and those over 50 years old. In exchange, Israel will release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners, begin withdrawing from some areas, and facilitate a significant increase in humanitarian aid into Gaza. Additionally, up to 608 trucks will be allowed to enter Gaza daily, providing much-needed relief to the besieged population. However, critics argue that the agreement does not address the root causes of the conflicts, such as the Israeli occupation, settlements, and blockades of Gaza. During the second phase, however, Hamas is expected to free the remaining male hostages, while Israel completes its withdrawal from Gaza. The third phase will focus on the return of deceased hostages and the beginning of reconstruction efforts in Gaza. However, the agreement's implementation will be phased over a 6-week period, leaving room for potential disruptions. Despite these concerns, the agreement offers a glimmer of hope for a peaceful resolution. As one observer noted, this isn't just about politics anymore. This is about mothers waiting to hug their children again, about families hoping to rebuild their homes, and about an entire generation dreaming of peace. Without a doubt, this deal also has a significant global implications. The agreement marks a crucial step forwards towards calming tensions in the region, but its success depends on the willingness of both parties to compromise and work towards a lasting peace. The deal also highlights the importance of international diplomacy, with the US, Qatar, and Egypt playing key roles in mediating the agreement. The global community is watching closely, as the deal's success or failure will have far-reaching consequences for regional stability and the Israeli-Palestinian conflicts. Some experts believe that the deal may pave the way for further negotiation, potentially leading to a more comprehensive peace agreement. However, analysts are skeptical about Israel's commitment to the recent ceasefire agreement, given its history of non-compliance with United Nations resolutions. This concern is rooted in Israel's past record of disregarding UN directives, particularly those related to the Israeli-Palestinian conflicts. On the other hand, the ceasefire agreement has also sparked a war of words between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, with both claiming credit for the deal. Biden described the agreement as his toughest accomplishment since taking office, highlighting the challenges of negotiating a peaceful resolution. Trump, on the other hand, claimed that Hamas began obeying his orders even before he took office, referencing his warning to Hamas during a Mar-a-Lago news conference.
Office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out.
Despite these claims, experts argue that the success of the ceasefire agreement depends on Israel's willingness to comply with its terms. The agreement's three-phase approach which includes the release of hostages, the withdrawal of Israeli forces, and the reconstruction of Gaza, will require careful implementation and monitoring. The international community, particularly the United Nations, will play a crucial role in ensuring that both parties adhere to the agreement. The United Nations has a long history of involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, with numerous resolutions aimed at promoting peace and stability in the region. Ultimately, the success of the ceasefire agreement will depend on the ability of all parties involved to work toward a lasting peace. As analysts continue to monitor the situation, the road to peace will require careful negotiation, compromise, and a commitment to upholding international agreements. As the international community watch with bated breath, one thing is clear: the people of Palestine and Israel deserve a future free from conflicts and violence. Thank you for joining us on Politics Today on Diaspora Digital Media. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell to get alerted when we drop a new video. I am Ibrahim Umaru Ase. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.